Hey everybody, so welcome to this channel. If you're new here, this is a channel that started about 2 years ago, May 27, 2024, Memorial Day, very symbolic day, because that is the day I started making these videos, and it was in a form of journal, and since then I did not stop. And this expanded to Meetup group and books. There are 2 books there. Last year it was published 2 books, and I'm going to publish 2 more books this year. And this is a journey that started November 2023 when I lost my corporate job after 21 years suddenly, and then subsequently in 2 to 3 weeks I lost my marriage. The tunnel was very dark. If you have been coming here, sorry for the broken record, but these are for the new people. But in this video today, the behind the scene or behind the curtain, whatever you call it as, I'm just so deeply grateful, and that is why I wanted to make this video today, because life, my friends, as it can bring a lot of challenges, trust me, it can bring also a lot of beautiful things. We just gotta be looking for those, right? We gotta focus on those. So I'm gonna tell you what I mean by all this. So yesterday we had our meetup event right here, which I call my startup garage, which is not a garage, as you can see. It's a living room of the house I'm still living in. And 2 years ago at this time, so today is March 1st, 2026. So March 1st, 2024, life was upside down, my friends. I mean, when I think about it, it's almost like I can't hold my tears. From there to here, when I think about it, I mean, I could not have imagined this life in my wildest dreams, in a good way. And sometimes that is why I think I believe in God. For you guys, it could be universe, divine, higher power, whatever resonates, right? When you surrender, the plan is so much bigger, because I was forced to surrender because that was not in my dictionary. Not the word itself, but you guys know what I mean. Because I come from a very small town in India. Sorry, the emotions are too deep, and this is all gratitude, Many of you guys know that I might have to go get a tissue soon. You guys know that I share my real emotion here. Let me go get a tissue, and you guys know I don't edit, so I'm gonna go get it. Okay, so I am back. As you can see, I'm Sunday morning. I'm in my pajamas, which is all right. This is what it's supposed to be. And I have my tea I made. I'm going to share the story about the tea a little later, but in 21 years, like where I come from in India, from a small town, to I was a senior director at my job where I got laid off suddenly. And there's a lot more story around that, which someday when the timing is right, I'm going to share about that. But anyway, life was upside down, or because people, when they lose one or the other, the job or the marriage, both can be devastating, and losing both at the same time, I had to look back in my life to see what I could overcome. And nothing was that significant. Perhaps my dad's death when I was 6 years old, he had a natural death, but the emotion then, you don't really remember all of that. So yesterday when folks came here, I was telling that they are part of my purpose, because 2 years ago I was just in pain. Emotional pain. If you guys are going through separation and divorce, you know what I mean. Very rarely I come across in the group there is another person where she also lost her job and marriage at the same time. But probably I haven't heard anybody who lost in the same month. Not that mine is more significant than yours, because we all walk in our own path. But that just shook me. That just shook me to the core, because I did not want to live, but I had to figure out a way to live for my daughter. She was 7 years old, and I will never forget the look on her face. She was sleeping, and I looked at her face and made a promise that I'm gonna live. For her, one day at a time. Sorry folks, it's very emotional. The reason I'm still gonna film it, because I hope this is gonna help somebody, because all these books and meetups and YouTube, it is helping more people than I realized, because yesterday somebody came. Hey, if you're watching this video, I'm not gonna mention the name for privacy, but I didn't even know that he was watching the videos, and it was the frameworks were helping him, and he showed up in the meetup event. And there are other people like who watches the video, and they don't comment, but a lot later they comment, and then I know that okay, they were watching the videos or helping. So my goal is to reduce the pain and suffering, and reduce the shame and guilt that people go through after divorce, because life is short and everybody deserves to live a happy life. So I decided to make this video today, even though the emotions are very raw. Because sometimes, you know, looking back and looking ahead, I think of dates, because I remember when I was writing the gratitude journal. If you have seen my videos from 2024, 2025, I used to be in upstairs, and then there's a gratitude wall on the back, and from there my gratitude journal was created, which I published last year, and the book one of the trilogy, Grateful After Goodbye, also came about, which has my own reinvention journey. So every event and everything makes me feel so grateful that it is making an impact in people's life. And some of the events are, of course, more significant than yesterday's was, also because in the room we had male and female about 50-50%. So it's the first event where the male and female were 50-50%. And the reason why I shared is significant and is good is because women are more, I don't want to use the word social, but statistically from the numbers, women have more support system and friends who they talk about when these kind of things happen. But men, on the other hand, some, even if they want to, the society kind of is in a way that, oh, men are supposed to do it themselves, or like, so a lot of men, sometimes they don't go attend events like that, or because of that societal pressure. And so men has fewer friends who they talk about the emotions, but men has emotions too. And yesterday's event was about inner coach versus inner critic. We played some games and it was fun. And I take feedback at the end. Towards the end, when I took the feedback, they said, they liked it and stuff like that. And that's the thing, and the perspectives are so different. That was the coolest thing. And we will actually do another event late March, where we are going to do even more fun activities around that, because the same thing, as we process the information from male versus female, it's so fascinating, it's interesting, it's different. At the same time, knowing that also helps the future relationship, because first marriage divorce rate 40%, second marriage 70%, third marriage 75%. So more we learn about each other, it kind of helps. So anyway, it is just my emotions are raw, as you guys know, but the journey started Memorial Day of 2024, and I was just making it was my daily survival journal. I have videos holding out the camera in front of the gym that I hope it becomes someone else's survival guide too. And at the time I was doing it as only mine, because I needed to survive for my daughter. Why I share this raw emotion is I know somebody somewhere is going through it right now. My friends, if you keep going, don't give up. Life becomes so beautiful right now. The reason I'm crying is because it's gratitude. It's all gratitude, because I could not have imagined this. In 21 years to get to the senior director level, I was in that rat race. And now, even though I'm doing my startup work, I don't feel like rat race, and I love doing what I do, because this is where your passion and purpose, when they all meet, I mean, people talk about it, but when you feel it, it's unimaginable. And looking back, I also know that 10 to 15 years throughout my job and stuff, that life was preparing me. Life was preparing me. Sometimes job would end abruptly, and I would have this amazing ideas that I know would work. I would present ideas with numbers, but it would get rejected. Even some points, one time, even my boss even yelled at me, like really snapped at me for bringing good ideas. But all of that makes sense now. I'm so sorry, but I really wanted to share this raw emotion today with you all, because all of this makes sense now. That sometimes it's just, you got to remember that it's not the people who are closing the doors. There is a higher power. They have a better plan for you. once you accept it, because this is also because we have a free will, right? Once you accept that everything that happened until now, for me, like, I accept all of this was part of a bigger story. Not only accept it, I'm grateful for all of it, even the challenging ones. Now, if you ask me, do I feel it in every single moment? No, sometimes, because I'm a human, sometimes when those memories come up, and I don't feel grateful all the time, but sometimes I have to, like, remind myself. It goes back to the inner critic and inner coach, that this is the critic thinking. And then the coach says, no, this was part of the bigger plan. So when we accept it, then we can move on, and that experience from the past actually becomes a wisdom instead of a challenge, or why me, instead of, it happened for a good reason for me, for the future, for a better future. Because all of us, we have, certain amount of time in this earth, and how profoundly we get to live our life is what makes life worth living. And to me, how profound it is the deeper emotions that we have, right? And the interesting part with the deeper emotion is, as you feel, like, I'm a person who likes to smile and laugh and all of that. So as you have, like, the fun emotions, a lot of fun emotions, which also means when you feel sad, you feel that deep emotion. You guys are seeing that I'm crying, and I'm talking to the camera like as if I'm talking to you, and that didn't happen overnight, because I was making the YouTube videos, for now almost 2 years, and then back in 2019 I had 2 other channels. So this time, of course, it was not planned or anything. It was just a journal type thing. And 2019, it was like part of my startup. But the point is, people say, be your authentic self. That also takes time. I think for me, even though I knew what it is, like appearing in front of camera every single day, when I was doing the journaling, it really taught me how to do that. And here and there are still things that I know that, okay, I, like, about a month ago, I gave a speech at my Toastmasters where I was trying to be nice to a group I attended the day prior, where I was judged. And when I was sharing that speech in my Toastmasters group, I was not as authentic, I would say, but it was also because I didn't want to talk about that. They were judging me, that group, the day prior, that because if I said anything like that for that group, it'll seem like I'm also judging them, right? So there's what is the difference? They were judging me, I'm judging them. So at the speech, they were telling me that you were hiding something, you're not saying the full story. So that was interesting. And then I got feedback from my mentors there that, you gotta be fully you. And I'm like, but what if some people feel offended? And they were like, even some people, if they don't understand, if they feel offended, then it's on them. It's on them, as hard as it may sound, because everybody is not going to understand us, and it's okay. I mean, my whole point is, as long as you do the messaging, or anything in life is off limits, as long as we are not intentionally hurting somebody, or we are not hurting ourselves, it's all good, right? So delivering that message with care, that is okay, because what is in our mind, if we don't share, that also creates resentment. Now there is a deeper layer to it, that how you make sure you don't build resentment, but that's, as a human being, it's not that easy to do. But what concept helps me, I have some books over there. Wayne Dyer book, he talks about non-duality. I'm Christian, If you're coming here often, you know that I used to be Hindu all my life and followed Buddhism pretty deep for a few months before several unexplainable events in my life got me into Christianity. It's a story I will write probably in my book number 7 or 8, because I know that God is still writing my story. So I am still not a traditional Christian because I actually got rejected from baptism once. I'm still not baptized, but I became Christian. But anyway, because I'm not Christian enough for some Christian people, and I am too Christian for non-Christian people. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It goes back to authenticity, right? I gotta be me, so I am me. Sorry, guys, for my nose. It's I guess this morning I'm a little too emotional. But that's part of life. As a human, you're supposed to have emotions. We are not robots, right? So, all good. I would encourage you guys to talk through your real emotions, not only to your therapist, to your friends. And if you don't have friends, join the community, Midlife Reinvention community on Meetup. You know, the group is growing. There are men and women, and right now the events are mostly in Ashburn, but we're going to be expanding it to different cities, eventually nationwide, and eventually further than that. So I'm on a mission to bring the conversation related to divorce and separation, these things, as a mainstream subject, because, you know, if people have a surgery, a physical surgery, they talk about it because there is pain associated with it, the family and all of that. Divorce is a major emotional surgery, lack of better term, right? Where it impacts the person, it impacts the people around, like the kids and others. And if we don't talk about it, how are we supposed to make it better, right? How are we supposed to reduce the pain, right? And the next generation and the generation after, they keep facing challenges. Too much raw emotion this morning. So, you know, like for me, you guys know my divorce is done. But after that, also when you have a daughter who we co-parent, sometimes she is with me, sometimes she's with her dad. That is still considerably new. It's only been a few months, so that is a part I'm still working through. And there are different phases of it. You will see that people in different phases, you will have different people who understand that. Because people who understood my journey in the early days, let's say when I was in the separation phase, some of them, they did not understand this phase, and like it was drastically different. The support was drastically different. And so as I go through this, and it's not that everybody's experience is going to be exactly the same or whatever, because, you know, we all have our own life's journey. Not only that, what the people around you, your friends or whoever, a coworker, they have their own life experience. Maybe they had a divorce in their family, their parents or their sibling or whoever, that also shapes them. So when they're trying to support you, how they lived their life and what experiences they had, it also comes into picture. So, you know, we are not perfect as human beings. They are also not going to be but the point is not them, the point is you. So to get the support from you need from people, sometime it will happen organically, that the people you had in your support system in the beginning, they may not be same in this phase or the phase after or the phase after. The point is not about helping everybody to understand your situation, because they're never going to be, especially if they have never been through. So you gotta let go of what is not working, and there might be a little void or empty space, and then it's like you have to have the physical and emotional space for God, universe, higher power, whatever you say, to bring those new people into your life. So it was interesting, yesterday's event. So I'm going to tell you something, how it was really strangely interesting. So I'll tell you what. So yesterday's event, it was so February 28th, right? Initially, I was actually thinking to cancel the event because I had my taxes to do, and my daughter's birthday was a few weeks ago. So, and as a single parent planning the birthday this year, it was on me. So all of it was like a lot. But somebody signed up to this event. I'm like, oh no, now I can't cancel it. But interestingly, that person ended up not showing up. But this event yesterday was like one of the best ones. And so I'm glad, that person signed up, even though he didn't show up. He was a new person. Again, goes back to you just have to accept the divine guidance and everything. So I was like, okay, this is how it was supposed to be. This event was not supposed to get canceled, right? And so my taxes will be delayed, which is fine. I mean, it's not delayed, it's March 1st. So I'll file it in the next couple of weeks. So it's funny how all of this happens. And where was I going with it? I don't know. It's just this morning I'm just sharing the behind the scene things with you all. It's the whole point is, my friends, just keep going, keep going. Life can become beautiful, because I really, oh yeah, the co-parenting and all of that. I really share this with you all to show that even after reinvention, which I consider that it took me a year, and then I found myself as a reinvented version. It's on my book, Grateful After Goodbye, on Amazon. It's not that life will be all perfect, but you don't live there, like your inner critic version, you don't live there too long, because if you think about the frequency levels, so this is the frequency level I talk about a lot. Dr. David Hawkins, it starts from shame and guilt after divorce. Everybody finds themselves there. And there's two main emotions, fear and love. And love is more like a self-compassion, kindness and all of that. So here, anything will drop you here. It doesn't have to be divorce. It could be somebody, like my boss once snapped at me for bringing good idea because he was busy anyway. So you might find yourself here for that. Oh, I'm not good enough and all that. But then how long you stay down here, once your inner coach is strengthened, because this area is inner critic, then you will pull yourself up there quicker, right? So that's the whole point. So it's not that I don't feel bad, but when something happens, but I don't stay down too long. That's the point. So if something took me a week last year, and now that week time I reduced to a day, that's a progress. And as inner coach, you want to notice the progress. Inner critic looks for perfection. And my friends, perfection doesn't exist, right? Perfection doesn't exist in ourselves. Perfection doesn't exist in someone else. But the inner critic, why it creates tension, is because it is always looking for that perfection. But progress is what makes life worth living and makes life beautiful, because when you keep looking for progress, you'll always find something. And it's the paradox that you don't want to control. When you let go of control, that's when the control actually shows up, meaning you are looking for progress, and you will find progress that will give you that sense of control, right? So that makes you feel like, oh, I'm making some progress. Yes, I have control. But here, on the other hand, when you're looking for perfection, which doesn't exist, which you won't find, that's what it's like. There is no control. It feels like there's absolutely no control, right? So it's that paradox that when you don't want to control, you actually have some sense of control, and it makes you feel like, oh, things are working. Same thing with surrender. As weird as it may sound, when you're surrendering and you are seeing, because your expectation, surrender in simple words is like you are not tying the outcome exactly the way you want, right? You are staying open to the outcome. You're staying open to the outcome. Let's say, I don't know, let's say I want to, I take stuff for metaphor, you guys know, right? So let's say, so this is a good one. So this is a fridge magnet I give to everybody on their first meetup event. And on their first I was holding upside down, sorry. So if you have not been into my meetup group, if you come the first time I give you this, you are not broken, you're becoming. It came from my own journey, because during my reinvention, several months in the beginning, it felt all like internally I was fully broken. I didn't know what was broken. I mean, of course, my physical body parts like the heart and lungs were all functioning. It was emotionally, I felt broken. I mean, now I'm smiling, but my friends, I can't tell you how broken I felt. So later I realized I was not broken, I was becoming. So that's why I give this to people on their first event, because it all comes from very deep from my heart, very deep from my heart. So even if it helps few people, it connects with their deeper layer. You know, because I really want to leave a little dent in the universe, little dent of happiness for the next generation and the generation after. Yeah, so that reminds me, that's where the story was going deep, that my daughter, you know, the kids also go through their own emotion with the divorce, especially if they are one child. In my case, we have one kid. So if they know how to address those emotions, if they learn a little bit, there's no guarantee, but hopefully when they grow up, they would believe in love. Because when they see divorce, two people who got married to brought them to bring them in this world, and they're not together. It is hard on them. So one of the reasons, of course, I do this work, probably the biggest reason, my daughter is now 10, but when she grows up, I hope she realizes that love can be real, even if it is not lived lifelong. Because I really want her to believe in true love. Even for the generation next, right? If she has kids someday, I don't know if I'll be a grandparent if I live to be that long, or what my daughter will teach others.
whatever she ends up doing for her career. You know, because a lot of time what happens is some folks, like, depending on, like, from a divorced family, the kids sometimes don't believe in real love, and when a little problem happens, they think that divorce is the only option. And sometimes when two people try to work it out in time, it can work. Because people say marriage is a lot of work. I actually don't like that term, because it should not feel like work. Yes, there are challenges. Even Gottman Institute has that even the healthiest couple have 69% 69% conflicts. So it's not the conflict, it's not going to happen. The conflicts are going to happen, either if it's money, the dishes, the laundry, or about kids or school, whatever. But after the conflict, how two people come together, right? Instead of throwing it under the rug, one person being avoidant, which makes the other person anxious, even if they're not. And that's a terrible working dynamic, which eventually falls apart. And it's in my book, Grateful After Goodbye, Chapter 6. It's also on my blog if you guys are interested, where there's like a 4 stages of, love. It comes from a lot of my research, which, could shatter love. Was like, first, it starts from love, right? Two people fall in love, eventually get married. And then it's like a slippery slope when two people, the priority are not each other, because in a marriage, two people have to choose each other every single day. I mean, when I say every single day, not literally every single day. If you have a conflict one day and then you come back together the next day, or the next day you talk about it. Yes, the smaller conflicts may be okay not to talk about, but the bigger conflicts, if you don't talk, eventually they become so tangled. It's like Christmas lights, like the olden days Christmas lights, when they were so tangled that you cannot untangle them anymore because they're so tangled up. Anyway, so when it becomes like that, it just, so love, and then it goes down to like, dislike, and at some point hate. Hate is a strong word, but when it comes to divorce and separation, that's, in a way, it's that the two people, they can't stand each other, right? And then the divorce knocks your door. But after that, like they say, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. If you can survive through that, in my case, I pushed myself to look back the big thing in life, what happened, those were not as big. And I'm like, okay, if I can go through this, my job loss and divorce at the same time, I can make it through anything in life. And in some sense, I think I made it through, because it was not, first few months when I had support from friends, I'll tell you, my friends, I had personal growth, but the biggest growth came from when I was in my me versus me battle. And that is what I cover on chapter 6 or 7. Because after some time, your friends will get tired of hearing the same stories. That's the reality. If you're going through it right now, you know what I'm talking about. Because if you're saying the same thing over and over, at some point they'll be like, okay, just make a decision, move on. Or if you moved on and if you're still saying the same story, they'll be like, okay, I got tired of listening to that. Not only that, they'll go back to their own life, right? Because they have their own, stuff, marriage and their kids and appointments, their job, whatever. So at some point, you will be left with yourself. You could have therapist or something, but nobody's there 24/7 with you. You are there in your own head. Your inner critic and inner coach fighting with each other, battling with each other, where the critic is constantly pulling the past or saying, what if I did this, probably the marriage would have been saved or whatnot. And the coach, on the other hand, wants to take you to the future, but you're kind of stuck. So when you win that battle, the inner coach wins that battle, me versus me battle, after that, nothing can stop you in this world, right? And you will know when you win that. Nobody from outside will exactly know. It's not that, okay, there's 10 situation happens in a week, and out of that you win 9, then your inner coach is stronger than inner critic. There is no number like that. You will know when you win that battle. And once you win that battle, your confidence, my friends, nobody can break it. And you will not look for external validation. If you're looking for any indication, that's one of the biggest indicator that, like for me, because I believe in God, because for you it could be universe, higher power, whatever resonates, or your higher self, if you're atheist or agnostics, because agnostic people is like, I think some are atheists, they call it agnostic, some are agnostic who believe in a little bit something, whatever. The point is, you might think of your higher self, right? In non-duality, that is actually like, that connects with God. Like, and for me, I believe in all of this because I feel like I expanded instead of shrinking to just one mold. Anyway, long story short, try to win that battle, because for me, it's like everything is between me and God. I don't look for any external validation. It's very nice to hear that, people appreciate my work. They say that this is making an impact. And trust me, it makes my heart full, so full. I can tell you. But in my corporate world, and also when I was doing the side hustle businesses, that was what I was looking for. Because what happens is, when you depend on that, when that goes away, then you feel like something is lacking, especially in startup world. If you're looking for external validation, that's not gonna cut it. So startup, of course, you can't rely on external validations. And even if you're in your job, if you can get out of that external validation thing, that you're looking for your boss to give you the kudos, or if you're hoping that you say something really good, your friend is gonna tell you something good, maybe they are having a terrible day and you share something good and they don't respond and you feel bad. If you have that going, that is going to pull you down. So that's why one of the biggest indicator of knowing that your inner coach is really ahead in the game is that you are not looking for external validation. That's also like when you post something online, normally you're like, oh, how many likes do you have? 10, 15, 50, 60, versus you don't even have any likes. And it is okay. It is okay. Some people have seen it. You want to make a good contribution, and it did. That's what matters. It doesn't matter how many people liked it, right? Because it's the validation should be coming from your internal self, and that is the inner coach, right? Because critic is looking for how many likes you got, but the coach is like, no, I know what I'm sharing. If it is making an impact, that's it. That's what counts. So that's something to remember. Anyway, I just wanted to share their emotions, my friend, because I feel so grateful, because this is beyond imagination. And that is what I would say, let go of the control. Because when you try to control, if your growth is supposed to be this, when you let go of the control, the growth it's big beyond the screen. I mean, that's my life in the last 2 years. I would encourage you to look up some videos from 2024 and last year 25, and now it's 26. It's all captured in the camera. You will see, like, there were days, literally, I make the videos and I'm grateful for the blue sky and the trees and Mother Earth, at which I'm still am, because my window is here and I'm looking. And those videos are upstairs. And those really saved my life. Apart from my daughter, of course, if you read the book, it is God really showed up through her, because I don't think I would have lived without that, which you guys will read more about my faith journey. And again, I don't like or want to convert anybody. This is my journey, how it unfolded for you. Who knows, maybe for you, from Christian you'll become Hindu, from Buddhist you'll become Christian. I don't know, but the point is, for me, that is something kept me going, and God showed up in ways that I can't explain it. And like I say, God is still writing my story, so someday I look forward to share the deeper layers of it in future books. But for today, I will end this here, and live your life every single day. Make the most out of it, my friends, because life is short. Because yesterday during the event, I said that we all have an expiry date. We just don't know when, right? So make the best out of every day. And everything is off limits as long as you don't hurt others, you don't hurt yourself. It's all good. It's all good. Life is short. Go live it. Take care. Bye.